Hey guys, welcome back. Mr. Will here. Video lesson for Thursday, April 30th, 2020 for the group Denominators. So we have been working with inequalities on Monday and Tuesday, and we are going to continue that theme as we continue to work with inequalities. This lesson and tomorrow's lesson is going to be working with inequalities with multiplication and division. That's right. So a couple of things to know when we are using multiplication and division. First, let's start with multiplying. Here we have division in this problem, in these three problems, but we are going to do the inverse operation, just like we did with multiplication. Just like we did with addition and subtraction. But when we multiply with negatives and inequalities, we are actually going to flip the inequality sign. And we'll work through a couple problems that are like this. But the multiplication property of inequality says that multiplying each side of the inequality by a negative number and reversing the direction of the inequality symbol, that will then produce an equivalent inequality. So what that means is that when you multiply with a negative number with an inequality, it will all go from greater than, you got to flip it to less than. We'll do some of those today. So let's look at these. I tried really hard to write these like a true fraction. It was x over 4, but I just couldn't get it to work quite right. This is x over 4 is less than, not 4, good grief, less than 5. So let's check this out. How would we solve this? Well, the first step is we would like to get our x variable by itself. So we would do the inverse operation. So since we're dividing by 4 on this side, we're going to multiply by 4. And what that means is it takes out the 4, because 4 divided by 4 is 1, and it leaves you with x. And so we have x is less than 5 times 4 would be 20. Now, if we were to, whoa, that is a crazy 0. Let's try that again. 20. I thought I was getting pretty good at this pen. I guess not. 20. There you go. That's better. Now, we need to graph this inequality. The worksheets that I've been giving you have the graph already done for you. But if you needed to graph this, this is positive 20. So you could just do maybe increase the value by tens. So then we have x is less than 20. So we would fill in 20 solid because it's not less than or equal to. And then we would simply draw our arrow. And congratulations, you just graphed this. So we solved it as x is less than 20, and we've graphed our results. Now, not much has changed here because we're dealing with positives. But check out this problem here. This is, again, it should be like this. X over negative 6 is less than positive 7. So again, we're going to follow the same steps where we are going to be multiplying both sides by this negative 6, because 6 multiplying this negative 6 by 6 gives it 1. And we're going to multiply this other side, 7 by negative 6. Now, in doing this, though, we have multiplied by this negative 6. We need to flip this, this sign here. Okay, it's going to go from less than to greater than. So this would then become x is greater than 7 times 6 would be 42, so it'd be negative 42. Okay, so if you can see that, because we multiplied by that negative, we need to flip it in order for it to be equivalent. And that's really what we're trying to do. Because this went from a positive to a negative, we have to flip it. And again, if we were to graph this, we are going to graph it. We can be pretty generous when we do these. We could do 0, and then these could go to the negatives, like negative 20. And you could, because you're just sort of representing it on the graph, negative 40, okay? That's a 0, negative 40. So this would go right about, let's say here, okay? And we would make our ball, and then we could draw our arrow of any number, okay? Because really, essentially, this means x is anything greater than negative 42. So here I've represented negative 42. It would be anything bigger than that, okay? I apologize that maybe this is not as neat as it should be. So when you do yours, please make sure that it's neat. This pen is a little tricky to use sometimes. All right, and then the last one. Now we have negative 3x is greater than 24. Now, in order to solve this, you're right. We're going to use the inverse operation. So since we are multiplying, we're going to divide by negative 3. So when I divide by negative 3 here, I'm left with x. Okay, whatever we do to one side of the inequality, just like an equation, we have to do to the other. So I have 24 divided by 3, and what that's going to give me is 8. Okay, well, actually, negative 8. Okay, and when we do this, same as when we are multiplying, when we divide by a negative, we are going to flip this sign. So it's going to be x is less than negative 8. Because when we multiply or divide, we're going to flip that inequality sign. Okay, so what I would like you to do is I would like you to practice these skills. I would like you to solve inequalities that have both positive and negative integers. Remember that when you're multiplying or dividing with negatives, we're going to flip that inequality sign. If you have questions, please reach out to me. I'm available every day from 9 to 10 a.m. If you have not checked in during office hours, please make sure that you are doing that at least once every week, and that is for a participation grade. Keep working hard, do your best, and I'll see you back tomorrow.